In Edo period Japan, one of the most erotic parts of a woman's body wasn't the melons, the peaches, or the buns fresh from the bakery. No, it was the neck, specifically the back of it. Let's talk about how this neck worship became a thing and how it changed Japanese culture all the way to the present day. The whole obsession came out of the pleasure quarters, or at least the pleasure quarters massively amplified it. Think of the pleasure districts of the Edo period as a cultural geyser, a geyser that squirts gallons of culture into the air to rain upon society. Whatever the ladies of the pleasure houses wore, the streets took note. Their outfits and hairstyles filled the pages of fashion booklets and art prints, becoming the style of the times. Courtesans wore their hair up to give everyone provocative peeks of their napes, the back of their neck. Tailors caught on and started widening collars so women could drape them low in the back, and pretty soon even townswomen walked around with reverse cleavages. Geisha painted their necks in styles called eriashi, neck legs, or sangbon-ashi, triple legs, which sound like moves a ninja performed on you before throwing a smoke bomb and disappearing, but it's just makeup. The patterns make her neck seem longer and more slender, and the contrast between the white makeup and warm skin draws your eye. Courtesans painted their faces and most of their necks white. Seeing the nape was like catching a forbidden hint of skin behind a mask or the slits of a veil, exposing the real woman underneath. All this neckish attention meant women shaved or plucked their necks smooth as my uncle's head. A hairy neck was like today's super hairy legs or super hairy other parts. Not pleasant to think about, but what is pleasant to think about is Tokyo Treat and Sakurako, the sponsor for this video. I almost died one day. I had sushi left in the fridge for 3 days and didn't want it to go to waste, so I decided to eat it. A couple hours later, I realized my mistake. I had a huge pain in my stomach. I started sweating. My body got hot. I rolled around in bed, just in pain, for an hour. And it only got worse. Must have been some strong salmonella in that salmon. I was so weak, but I finally managed to crawl to my phone and delete my browser history in preparation for the end, thinking about how sad my YouTube viewers will feel. And then it happened. I farted. And everything felt better. Pain was gone. I felt lighter when I realized that I just had a lot of gas. That's all. I almost died, laughing. Don't be like me. Eat food in actual packaging, like Tokyo Treat. They send you a box of snacks every month, straight from Japan. The theme for this month is New Year's snacking. You get a bunch of delicious New Year treats, especially this chocolate mint ice cream Kit Kat, oh my god. If you want a more premium snack box with a lot of exclusive treats from local Japanese makers, try Sakurako. It's also New Year themed. You get snacks and tea. There's shiroko, a traditional sweet red bean soup dessert for New Year's. And this month, you also get a cute little calendar. Click on the link in the description and use code LINFAMY to get a discount now. People totally love them as gifts. Now, I know many of you are Japanese history enthusiasts, and you've read a lot about Japan's neck fetish, so I know you probably already have a huge misunderstanding of what it is. It's okay, many people would. Seeing a bare nape to a Japanese was not like seeing a bare breast to a European. Western beauty standards have pretty much spread around the world, and Western sexy is often very in your face, like, see my gigantic boobies here, let me smack you with them visually. A sexy dress is revealing, either revealing skin or revealing the shape of what's underneath, but we'll talk about clothing later. Japanese sexy was the opposite. The idea was not to be revealing. It was more of a subtle beauty, a modest eroticism, what we might call classy, maybe. When a courtesan is facing you straight on, it's impossible to see her nape. But when she tilts her head or she turns away for a bit, a fleeting moment reveals her delicate nape. And then it's gone. Did she catch you looking? Your heart races from the naughty. Then you resolve to visit her brothel later to see more. She wasn't showing off her nape, she was just going about her life, looking at something, adjusting her clothes. You just happened to catch it at that sweet moment. Japanese sexy was more of a hint than an announcement. Now, forearms and thighs are also cylindrical. Why did they love the neck so much? It had to do with hairstyles and kimonos. For most of Japanese history, the hairstyles of noble women covered their necks. For example, Heian noble women had long flowing hair, so thick it could deflect arrows and choke political enemies. It was hard for necks to peek through. Commoner women wore their hair up all the time because they actually had to do manual labor, so commoner napes were too common to be enticing. Like if every woman today started walking around with their melons hanging out, after a couple of days, the price of melons would plummet. Of course, the elites did dabble with upswept hairstyles over the years, but it wasn't until the Edo period that it became common for women to tie their hair up in cool buns. The neck, once shy and hidden behind black veils, found itself thrust into the public eye. Oh dear, it's quite chilly. Is this the outside world? Why, there's so many things. And people. And they're looking at me. Okay, be sexy now, be sexy. Elongate. Oh gosh, I can't. I feel so naked. I should cover up, but why must this collar be so low? Or something similar. But it was too late. Society had seen the neck, and it was like black. Society couldn't go back. Which leads us to kimonos. As a world expert in fashion, I can tell you that a kimono's purpose is totally opposite that of a Western dress. A dress that you would find in, say, a modern wedding reception is designed to show off a woman's body, either her curves, her skin, or in the case of backless dresses, how she looks face down in bed to her parents, I guess. A kimono is designed to show off none of that. If you look at someone wearing a proper kimono, no, that's an improper kimono. The silhouette of a proper kimono is straight up and down, like a sushi roll with sleeves. You know what these are? They're padding that you wear under your kimono to keep that straight shape. Your body underneath could possess a formidable tush or be thin as a toothpick. No one would know. The outfit also covers every piece of skin except the head and hands. So, for a Japanese man with eyes whose view was constantly being blocked by hair or cloth, any sighting of skin was like a diabetic sighting chocolate. They can't help but imagine tasting it. Sex workers, always the pioneers of culture, started wearing their hair up and pulling their collars down. It sparked a whole nation's love affair with necks. How do we know this? We can see it all over the art and literature the Japanese left behind, and they were very creative about it. The nape sauntered its way into print culture and decided to leave a big impression. Art prints teased their buyers with explicit shots of courtesan necks. This is an art print of a courtesan. It's a mirror scene so that you can see both her face and her sweet-ass nape. Her neck is impossibly slim, and you can even see her bare shoulders. This one's from the same artist. A dude shaves a courtesan's neck. To us, it just looks like a barber doing his thing, but the average man in Edo, Japan seeing this would have been tempted to do his thing. Remember, a clean-shaven neck was attractive. This print lets us peek at a couple in the middle of a private, intimate moment. In this one, a wife gets treatment by burning moxa, or dried mugwort, and the burns mark her skin. The neck on her stretches long enough for a plane to land on. The burns and the bare neck and back mixes pain with eroticism, the yin and yang of good times. Here's another. You see a pretty spicy scene, but instead of her bosom, the focus is on her nape and her legs and bottom. The neck porn doesn't end there. It wasn't just art, but literature too. Writers and poets wrote with one hand about women flashing their pure white napes during intimate scenes. Famous author and massive pervert Ihara Saikaku describes a woman like so. Her neck was long and slender. No untidy wisp of hair marred the perfect elegance of her back. In another story, he writes about a sexual encounter that's kicked off with a bite on the neck. More evidence that people thought the neck was a very hot part of the body. Then she bit him on the neck, and in a moment they were in the throes of love. Yosano Akiko in 1901 wrote a poem about an intimate experience with her lover, which, of course, includes mention of the nape. Lifting your head, my slender arm beneath the nape of your neck. I want suddenly to suck your feverish lips with mine. That's a 10 out of 10, would blush again. The neck craze even affected folklore. There's a Japanese monster called Rokurokubi that looks like a woman with a long neck, meters in length. How can you look at that and not spontaneously combust? But a neck can only stretch so far. The party's gotta die down sometime. In the Meiji period, foreigners introduced new fashion trends. Breasts, hips, and legs stole the spotlight, and the neck found itself in the corner asking the foot where things went wrong. Still, the nape wasn't totally forgotten, not at all. The image of a woman turned away with her bare, slender nape was super recognizable, considered elegant and attractive. The allure of the neck still lingers today. When wearing a kimono, it's seen as sloppy and trashy to have a low, open neckline at the front. Not subtle at all. If you want to look sensual, you expose the nape. If you want to look modest, even though we know you're not, who are you fooling, then you'd cover up the nape. Hairstyles for wearing a kimono usually do the hair up. Geisha still paint their necks in the eriashi or sanbonashi styles, and here is a normal person shaving her nape hairline, nairline, into an eriashi shape. In a traditional Japanese wedding, a classic bridal kimono will have the back collar pulled down to reveal the bride's nape. The front stays covered, but the back welcomes you to the after party. In Japan, complimenting a woman's nape or neck is pretty normal. Fashion sites and magazines tell women to shave that shaggy nape into a shape that will make his heart skip a beat. Yeah, Japan's pleasure districts affected the culture in all kinds of ways. One of the wilder ideas was how to show love. The ways a courtesan was supposed to show love to her clients ranged from writing poems to tearing off a fingernail to things even more drastic. Click here to learn about all the ways a courtesan proved her love. We have some new members on Patreon and YouTube today. Lissa Discord, Ignis, LSEM, Hyperphania, Ostosman, Lucas Nantes, Broken Glass, Ty, Hiram Amador, and Bob Flintlock. You're all amazing. Alright, I love you and spread the knowledge.